I don't get kicked off. If it comes up, it's spinning. It's not going to work if you keep getting that noise.
No, that's
All right.
it.
Come on. There we go. Good afternoon. This is Tony Dottino on Monday in the 4 o'clock hour. This is my last broadcast that I'm doing from New York. I will be back on Wednesday in Windermere, Florida, which is where I'll pick up my next Live with Tony. And some of you that have been watching my Live with Tony broadcast have been seeing me getting dropped off and then trying to re-sign on. The internet connection here for me is just with my laptop or whatever it may be has just been a challenge. And so I've been on and off, and I try to get at least 10 minutes into my broadcast. So I'm going to, it seems like about the 10-minute mark is when the internet connection here kind of drops me off, and now I got the sniffles. So let me just bring you up to date on a few things. I'll be back in Windermere, Florida by this Wednesday. And one of the things I'll be doing is going over to visit the Rosen Center Town Square. And in the Town Square is where we are planning to host our next USA Memory Championship live with the finalists that come from the August 7th qualifying events, which we'll be doing virtually. And so we're keeping our fingers crossed that the COVID vaccines and COVID antibodies are going to allow enough of people to have safe travels, to feel comfortable, to come to Orlando. The theme parks are open, and SeaWorld is open, and Universal. And so we're hoping that the mental athletes that come to compete will enjoy the Orlando area on October 23rd, as well as competing in the USA Memory Championship, where we will have our next USA National Championship winner. We have run into a little bit of legal bumping because with digital and having cash prizes, so we had to back off on the cash prize for this year. So we'll have to wait until 2022 where we can resume doing the qualifying and the finals on live. So that was another issue. But as I've said to people over and over again, after 22 years of doing this, it would seem to think that it gets easy and we eventually figure out how to do the event and not be crazy. And yet every year with different challenges that come up, we learn new lessons and we have to adapt to new principles. So that's some of the lessons that we're learning this year. But we're going to go out, we're going to have our championship, which is the good thing. And what's exciting to us is that people are signing up. So we're getting a good list of people and a number of individuals from various age groups. We've got only a small group of actually school participants and mental athletes this year, and a bigger large group are going to be adults. So it's an exciting mix that we have, but we're still working at it. And we've got another month plus before final registration. So we do have time, and we're getting all lined up. So the team is actively engaged. Michael Dottino has just finished his pilot work with Columbia University, where he's taken some of the memory skills that are in his Maximum Memory Mastery online course, and he's taught them to a pilot group of college students at Columbia University as part of a national educational study by the Science Foundation that is now looking at, well, what changes will take place in people that go through the memory challenges and the memory training. And so that's exciting. So we've got that going on. And the Memory Championship, we've got, I'll have some meetings next week where I'll be going to look at the venue and spacing out where we want, how many spectators will we have, what press releases will we be getting out to the news media in the Orlando area, which I think will be fabulous. And how many people can we sit in the banquet hall that we'll be featuring it in? And all of that is the work that the team has been now pulling together, and elements of lumosity and sponsors. So I've got a couple of people I need to get back to that are interested in being sponsors for the event. And I think it's going to be an exciting year if all stays well with COVID opening up. And I do get a bit nervous and anxious as stadiums and air travel. I was reading over the weekend, air travel is back to 75% of what it was at its peak. So people are traveling again. They're on airplanes. They're going to parks. They're going to ball games, going to basketball games, hockey arenas. So people are extremely active again. And we keep our fingers crossed that with the number of people with antibodies and the number of people with vaccines, that we keep everybody well and safe and within the boundaries of good health. And that continues to be the principles that are prioritizing the events that we will have. So we're doing the virtual. It will prioritize what we do eventually live, but we're at least committed right now to October 23rd at the Rosen Town Square in Town Center in Orlando, Florida. That's exciting, and we hope to have live, because I think watching people compete with pictures, names, and faces, and what we call our tea party, and what we'll propose as a long-term memory event, and a shuffle deck of cards, and putting an audience in front of that just creates an intensity and an excitement in a competition where the audience is learning, and the speakers that we have are teaching, and everybody that participates and is a part of that type of a day is just having a really learning experience, a very interesting one, and they find it novel to watch people compete in a memory competition and find themselves being engaged and being wrapped around what actually is happening. And that's been our experience when we've been able to do live memory competitions on stage over the 22 years that we've done them. As all of us are, COVID has not made it easy. We've all had to adapt to some level, but we're adapting. And the good news is I've got a team about me that supports our adoption, and are making things happen in a very positive way. So things are happening. We've got some more updates we got to get out on the website. We're running some parallels to check the logistics of our virtual event on August the 7th. And I think I'm delighted with the progress we're making. I think we've got a great team of people from Lumosity that have supported with us. My team has just been clearly doing their best to make everything happen. And I think we're going to have a good year. I've got a couple of people I need to be talking to in the next week about possible being sponsors for the live event. So I see pieces coming together. Sometimes not as fast as I would like, but they're coming together. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward for people that have used the Maximum Memory Mastery online course to give their chance to enroll in the competition and see how they do against other people, practicing names and faces and strings of numbers and lines of poetry and things of that sort. And getting this out to a different geography. So we've done the event in New York City for a good number of years. We moved it to Pennsylvania, and we're at Pennsylvania State University while we were able to be live. And now we're going to take a shot at doing this in Orlando, Florida, where at least we have an opening, and the state is a little bit more open than we have found in other areas, and playing the middle of the road with colleges and universities being safe and being cautious and conservative. We weren't going back to a college this year, but we're going to hang in there. The team is hanging in there, and we're going to keep on going. So we're still here. We're still working on it, and look forward to giving you my next update this coming Wednesday when I'm back in Windermere, Florida. Safe, and pay attention to your own habits as